In this video, we're going to cover how to build a bill of materials for the Ruckus ICX 7150 series of products. So the 7150 and the 7150Z series is the entry-level switching routing product from Ruckus. Before we begin, make sure you have the latest price list. So if you don't have one, go to the Ruckus Partner Portal. You'll see it under Sales Resources. So even if you have a price list, make sure you have the latest because SKUs and pricing changes. So an overview of the 7150 series. 7150 comes in a 12-port compact switch. It's a fanless model, 2 SFP ports, and 2 uplink ports. So those SFPs could be licensed as 1 gig or as 10 gig. They're field upgradable with a license. The 24 and 48 is 24, 48, 10, 100, 1000. And then 4 SFP ports that could be licensed as 1 gig or 10 gig, depending on the SKU you purchase. Looking at the back here quickly, what you'll notice is there is no redundant power option on any of the entry-level products. Only the ZP has a redundant power option. So there's the 24 and 48 port non-PoE, which is fanless. There's the 24 and 48 port PoE, which is a 370 watt PoE option. And then there's the 48 port PoE, which is the PF, which is 740 watts. The 48 ZP is a higher end model, still in the 7150 series, but now we have redundant hot swappable power supplies for a total PoE budget of 1740 watts and dual hot swappable fan trays as well. It also, in addition to the 10, 100, 1000 ports, it has 16 ports which are 1 or 2.5 gig Ethernet. And those same 16 ports are also capable of PoH. So 60 watt or 90 watt PoE is also possible on those first 16 ports. And as opposed to the previous models, which had 2 or 4 SFP ports, the 48ZP has up to 8 ports of 10 gig to use for stacking or uplink. So what's in the box? So the 7150 device itself is in the box, of course. There's a 2-post rack kit and the appropriate screws to go with those. There's a wall mounting kit, which is basically just a couple of screws and some plastic anchors. There is 4 rubber feet should you wish to set it on a table rather than mounting it. There's an AC power cord for the US only. There is a power cord retainer clip which clips into the back, and then there's the RoHS and README first documents. So switch SKUs for the 12 and 24 port models. So let me start with the 12 ports first. So there's the 7150-C12P. So they're all PoE. There's no non-PoE version in the 12 port. And then you can just order the base model, which is just 2 1 gig SFP ports, so it doesn't have a 10 gig license on it. Up from there, you can go with the model that has the 2 10 gig ports, and it also has the full layer 3 license. There's the -A, which is always a TAA compliant model if you need TAA compliance for federal. And then there is a 2x10GR-RMT3. So basically this comes with the 2-port 10 gig license and the full layer 3 and 3 years of remote support. So the 7150 includes the limited lifetime warranty, which is an advanced replacement, but it does not come with any technical support beyond the 90 days. So if you want technical support 7x24 TAC, then you need to add remote support. So this bundles it all together in a single SKU. The 24 port models, so there's the 24 port non-PoE and the 24 port PoE. So the P designates whether it's PoE or not. And then you can just have the four 1 gig ports, or two 10 gig ports, or all four 10 gig ports. And when you add all four 10 gig ports, then it adds the layer 3 license R for router. Um, and then there's a TAA compliant version and one with the 3 years of remote support for each one of those. When we get into the 48 port SKUs, it's exactly the same. So there's a 48 port and non-PoE and a 48 port PoE. So same options with 2 or 4 ports of 10 gig, or no 10 gig if you just want the 4 1 gig. There's also the PF version. So the 48 PF is basically a double the PoE budget. So as opposed to the 370 watts that normally comes in the 24 or 48 port, this one has a 740 watt PoE budget, but otherwise it's exactly the same and the same model options. The ZP, on the other hand, so the ZP was with the dual redundant power supplies and redundant fans, as well as the 2.5 gig Ethernet and the POH support. Comes in a few different options. So remember, it's got 8 SFP ports on it. So you can buy it with just the 2 ports of 10 gig licensed if you just wanted to stack it, or you just wanted 2 ports for uplink, or the 8 ports of 10 gig with the full router license, the remote 3, RMT3 if you wanted the 3 years of remote support, and the dash A for TAA compliance. So some options here. So we've got the optional fan FRU, or field replaceable unit for the 48 ZP. So remember, the other models don't have a replaceable fan or replaceable power supplies. So if you need to buy the fan separately, you can do that here, as well as the RPS 20-E. So this would be the power supply for that ZP model. We have a couple of rack mount kits. So the 12 port model, the compact model, does not include any rack mount. So this is the 2 port rack mount kit. There's also a wall mount kit for that device. There is a 4 post rack kit for the 24 and 48 port. A FIPS security seal should you need that for federal compliance. A spare 2 post rack kit, even though it comes with one for the 24 and 48 port model, and then the LRM rack mount kit if you need the LRM adapters. So a few license options. So here we have the certificate of entitlement for the 24 and 48 port model, to go from 2 ports of 1 gig and 2 ports of 10 gig to 4 ports of 10 gig. So if you purchased it with the 2x10, you could upgrade it to the 4x10. It also includes a full Layer 3 license. This is certificate of entitlement is to go from the 4 1 gig SFPs to 2 1 gig and 2 10 gig. The next one is to go from 4 1 gig all the way up to 4 10 gig and the full Layer 3 license, all in one fell swoop without passing through that 2x. Then we have for the compact switch to upgrade from 2 1 gig to 2 10 gig. So remember, it only has the 2 SFP ports on it, but it also includes the full Layer 3 license. And then lastly, for the 48 ZP, you can go from the 8 1 gig to 2 10 gig, 8 1 gig and 2 10 gig to the 8 10 gig with the full Layer 3 license. So as I mentioned before, the 7150 has a limited lifetime advanced replacement warranty. So it's next business day advanced replacement. However, it only comes with 90 days of 8x5 tax support. So if you want to upgrade that, you certainly can. You can upgrade to remote support, which gives you 7x24. Or you can upgrade it to a next business day parts. So a couple of different offerings. So we have the warranty that we just talked about. Then you can upgrade to watchdog support, which is the next level, which is kind of a reactive support in a 1, 3, and 5 years, or the premium bulldog support, which is a proactive support, again in 1, 3, and 5 years. And you can purchase either one of those in next business day or 4-hour replacement options. So support SKUs, just really quickly. So we have, these are the watchdog support SKUs. So 4-hour parts for the 48ZP, next business day parts for the 48ZP, remote support for the 48ZP, and a secure uplift. So for secure federal customers that cannot return their product, there's an additional beyond the regular support to have them securely dispose of those. Then we have, so sort of the same thing, 4-hour next business day and remote support on the 24 and 48P, and secure uplift for that. And then on the RMT3 bundle. So different SKUs depending on what you're looking for. As far as optics goes, optics is different on every product line within the ICX, so make sure you look at that optics data sheet and look at the matrix to make sure the optics that you want to use are supported on that product and in that port. The note here, third-party optics are not supported, although they may function. We can't assure the quality and test every third-party optic, so if you call into TAC, they are going to ask you to replace that optic with a Ruckus optic before they continue to troubleshoot an issue. As far as stacking cables goes, direct attach or what you may call twin X cables, always use passive whenever possible. So they run cooler, they pull less energy, and frankly, they're less expensive. So if you're using less than 5 meters, so half meter, 1 meter, 3 meter, go ahead and use those passive cables. The actives will work just fine. They are supported. However, passive is the preferred method. So supported stacking interfaces. How do you stack these guys together? So 7150 first does not support stacking on the 10100, 1000 interfaces on module 1. So no ports on module 1 can be used for stacking. It does also not support stacking on module 2. So those gig copper ports that are module 2 do not support stacking. It only supports stacking on the module 3 10 gig interfaces, and that's only true with the 10 gig license. So if you don't have the 10 gig license on those SFP ports, you will not be able to stack using those at 1 gig. They have to have the license installed. LRM, so if you wish to run LRM, it requires the LRM adapter module. So there's a 1 and 2 port adapter module that comes with those. And so LRM would only be used in the case of you have really old multi-mode fiber. So OM1, OM2, OM3 multi-mode fiber. You can go up to 220 meters with LRM. However, it requires the adapter module. So just be aware of that. So sample bill of materials. So this is 37150-48PF switches. We're going to add the layer 3 license, and we're going to add 3 years of remote support onto those. So we're going to use the bundle here, which makes your life a lot easier. So it's the ICX 7150-48PF-4x10GR-RMT3. So it comes with 4 ports of 10 gig already enabled. It comes with a full layer 3 license, and it comes with 3 years of remote support all in a single bundle SKU. So we ordered 3 of those, and then so we've got all we need to make this happen, and then all we need to do is stack those together. So in order to do that, we've added the quantity 3 of these passive copper 1 meter cables. So we've got 3 of those. They're stacking at 10 gig. That's the only way you can stack a 7150 is with 10 gig. You can't do it at 1 gig. So we added 3 of those. And so very easy bill of materials to make happen. Next, we're going 7150 ZP, right? We want redundant power supplies, which we didn't have in the previous one. Layer 3 software, and 3 years of remote support. So 7150 750-48ZP-E8X10GR-RMT3. So it's a 48ZP. It includes all 8 of the 10 gig ports licensed with full Layer 3 and 3 years of remote support. So we've taken care of all of those options in a single SKU minus the redundant power. So this comes with one power supply and one fan. And so in order to get to the redundancy that they're looking for, we're adding a second RPS 20-E power supply. So 3 of those, one for each of the 3 switches. And then we need to add the fan through. So because we're adding the redundant power supply, we also need to add the redundant fan tray. And so we're adding 3 of those. We're adding power cords for those additional. It comes with a power cord with the switch for the first 3 power supplies, but we need to add a power cord for the second 3, and then we're going to add the 3 copper cables to go with that. So that's it. So pretty straightforward, right? Use the bundles when you can. Most of the 7150s, other than the ZP, have the fans and power supplies built in, and so that's not really an option anyway. The options on the 28 and 24 and 48 port really are what licenses you want, and if you need additional rack kits and optics, etc. However, the ZP requires a little bit more in that, you know, if you want redundant power, then you need the redundant fans and the licensing to go with that. So that's it. Thanks for joining, and take care.